What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the stock option recap for February 25th, 2021. The Dow Jones is down 1.75%, the Nasdaq's down 3.52%, and the S&P is down 2.45%. Now, today is one of the biggest down days we've had in a really long time. You could have killed it on so many weekly puts. So I'm just going to go through a few different options here, but I just wanted to kind of show you guys some of the option plays I've had where I thought I was good and I thought I had like a decent exposure to the downside, but it actually turns out some of the plays I had are just like way too far out of the money, or they have too much time on them. So on a big down day like this, I wasn't actually really able to profit that much when I could have made like 200-300% on literally any weekly option. I bought these City June puts earlier in the morning because I've been stocking these contracts for a really long time, and I saw an opportunity to get in them while the market was dropping pretty huge, and I got them for about $35, and I was expecting them to actually move in price, but like I said before, these are just so far out of the money and they have so much time, they barely gained any value. Where if I would have got less time and closer into the money, I would have actually been able to profit off of this move. Of course, trading weekly options is a little bit risky, but I literally could have even got like a couple weeks out and I still would have made about 100% because those June contracts barely even moved and we were down huge. Like Citi dropped almost over $3 today, and these March 19ths are up a little over 100%, basically the same price I paid for those June ones. And then we could go to these weekly ones as well, and you can see there was a lot better gains on these weekly ones. Like you could have got these 63s for literally 15 cents this morning, and these are up a little over 150%. So I just wanted to make it clear that when the market has big down days like this, you might want to be on the lookout for some shorter time and closer into the money contracts because they're a lot cheaper and they can gain more value. Now, if the market continues to sell off, the contracts I bought might actually start to do well, but at the same time, these shorter term contracts are going to gain even more value than the contract I bought. So I just kind of wanted to show this as an example because I want you guys to be able to profit off the market when it drops, but I want you guys to be able to do it the right way. And I didn't really do it the right way here today. I got too many plays with too much time, so they barely even moved. Whereas if I would have just got one or two plays with like a week or two of time, I could have made like 100-200% at least. Depending what I bought, I could have made even more. Of course, it all depends what you buy because stuff like McDonald's barely even dropped. You know, Starbucks barely even dropped at all. It was holding up most of the day. It looks like it's coming down a little bit more after hours, but there's some stocks that usually don't even react when the market's dropping, so you always got to be aware of that. But I just wanted to make it clear that if the market drops like this crazy, you might want to be on a lookout for a little bit shorter term contracts to make a better gain. Like I said, the only way these longer term contracts are actually going to work extremely well on the downside is if the market continues following either the rest of this week or on to next week. Like that's the only way those longer term contracts are going to get more expensive because the market might actually change its mind and start getting a little bit more bearish, whereas the short term contracts actually react more to individual stock moves throughout one day. So I hope that helps you guys. I just wanted to explain that to you, so maybe on the next downturn you might be able to make some profit on some shorter term contracts and not go for the longer term ones like I always do, because I really like plays with time. But in market volatility like this, the shorter term contracts are going to be way more beneficial and you're going to make a lot more profit. Now, as far as individual option plays, RCL dropped a lot today. You could have scooped this up for extremely cheap in the morning on the put side. They were up almost over $100, so those calls I sold the other day would have been great in the morning here, but they started to sell off a lot. A lot of your rotation stocks actually sold off crazy because they've been going up a lot recently. So you might want to be on the lookout for something like this tomorrow if the market continues to go down, but we'll just have to see. But you could have got contracts that expired tomorrow for super cheap and they went up a lot, but I'm going to focus more on the next weeks because I want to show you guys the opportunity of a little bit more time. I mean, this is only an extra week of time, but you can assume the contracts that expire tomorrow were all extremely cheap and you could have made a killing on all of them. Like pretty much any daily contract on most of the stocks went up a little over 1,000% depending what you bought. So I just want to focus more on the next week contracts so you guys don't get trapped into paying too much premium, and you keep on the lookout for some cheap options tomorrow or next week if we continue to sell off. So you could have got these 83 puts for next week for about $35 in the morning, maybe 40 if you would have waited a little longer, and they went up a little over 200%. Super crazy move on there. Not as crazy as the daily options, obviously, but still dope on RCL. RCL sold off a lot compared to how much it was up recently. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on the travel sector and the banks and stuff like that for maybe some more opportunity on these weekly contracts, but it looks like they're all going to be super overpriced, and we might have to pay a premium anyway if we want to play the downside. But RCL was pretty crazy today. Boeing had another crazy move today. You could have got some pretty cheap options on Boeing in the morning. You could have got these 200s for about $50. The dailies were even crazier, and you could have even got these 195s for about $30 in the morning, and they're up a little over 200%. It seems like most of these next week contracts are all up a little over 200%, so we're going to have to do a lot of shopping tomorrow if we're going to want to find a play for the downside. I might look for a play on them tomorrow. It just kind of depends how the market reacts. Another crazy play was Snapchat. You could have got these $60 contracts for next week for about $35, and they went up a little over 400%, so insane move there on Snapchat. Again, pretty much all the puts are so overpriced right now. It's going to be hard to find a play, but you're just going to have to go shop, and hopefully you can find something good that doesn't have too much premium. I already have a couple stocks in mind, like Altria, Coca-Cola, just slower movers that you might be able to get into, but it just is all going to depend how we open tomorrow for sure. A stock I might actually consider a play on tomorrow if we continue this downtrend is going to be Beyond. They had earnings today, and their earnings report wasn't that great, but they had news along with their earnings that they're signing a 3-year deal for the McPlant burger, and they were actually going down after the earnings report, and then that piece of news came out, and they shot up pretty crazy, but it looks like they're actually just at the same price as they were before the earnings, so maybe we'll be able to find some cheap options on Beyond. It's all going to depend on how the option chain opens. Maybe we can find a mispriced option on there or something, but Beyond options are really expensive, so it might be difficult. This is just the only stock I really have hopes for in finding something cheap on the put side, just because the earnings might mess up the option chains. If we start to see more volatility towards the downside, I'm definitely going to be looking at Beyond, and I don't really have any other stocks besides like I said, Coca-Cola or Altria or any slower mover for a downside play, because everything just has so much premium on the puts. Pretty much everything's up 100-200% on the options, so we might have to shop for some longer terms, or maybe we'll get lucky with something like Beyond or another stock that reported earnings overnight. We'll just have to see. I'm just going to be betting on Beyond, because if the market continues to sell off crazy, Beyond's already pretty volatile to begin with, so this one might be really good, but like I said, the options are really expensive on there, so we'll just have to see how it opens up. One interesting stock today was Workhorse. The shares actually started to go crazy for some reason before the close. I actually tried to get an order on some shares and make a little quick flip here, but I didn't get filled on the order, so that kind of sucks. But I mean, if I wouldn't have made the quick flip, I would have been down on the shares judging by the close. But I might be keeping an eye on Workhorse for some shares. I don't think I'm going to play options on there because the options went insane. They're all up over 1,000% just off this little pop here. So I might look out for some shares if this continues to like rotate upwards against the market. We'll just have to see how tomorrow ends up. I really don't know what to expect for tomorrow because today was a crazy volatile day, and sometimes when the market gets super volatile like this, it continues, and I just really don't know what to expect. So I'm sorry that this option recap isn't that great. There's just so many puts that are up a lot, and I'm trying to give you guys some things that I'm looking out for and that I've seen, and there just weren't really any option plays that stood out to me like crazy. As far as all the normal stocks we talk about, everything is up, so it's just kind of hard for me to want to go through like every single stock and show you the options because everything's up hundreds of percents, if not thousands. So I really just wanted to talk a little bit about the market and give you guys some input on what I saw today and what my thought process was. And I hope it was helpful. I hope you guys take something away from this video. Once the volatility stops going crazy, we'll be back to our normal videos of showing the crazy ass options that go up a lot while the market barely moves. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys for watching. If you have not, be sure to hit that like button. Also hit that subscribe and notification bell so you can be notified when we go live. We're live market open to market close Monday through Friday, so you'll definitely want to hit that notification bell and you will be notified the second we go live and also when we post videos. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.